Today on Sci-Fi Fantasy Network, I'm talking to Ian McElhinney. You may remember him as Barristan Selmy in Game of Thrones. You're an actor and director. Can you tell us a little bit about how you first got into acting? Where was your first experiences with that?
I guess I got the bug when I was about 16 as a schoolboy, doing a school play, and enjoyed it, and then did quite a few before I left school. And at that stage, I probably did want to go to drama school, but I actually went to university. I went on studying for quite a long while, but doing plays all the time as a student. And then I felt I have no choice but to go into this. But that said, it took me a long time. I actually was a teacher before I went into it full time.
Don't ask him about his death. It's a bad question.
You play Barristan Selmy in Game of Thrones. I know you've read the books now. Had you read them before you took the role?
No. As soon as I was offered the part, I discovered only then that it was based on books. So then I thought, well, I'll give them a read. And having started, I found them very hard to put down. I thought they were a great read, and I was also keen to know what sort of a journey my character would have, because let's face it, you could be bumped off very early in the whole thing. My best knowledge, if you like, of the story is from the books.
Do you usually research roles like that when you get them?
Not necessarily. I mean, some people, for instance, in working on Game of Thrones, they know about the books, but they wouldn't dream of reading them, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be doing the books, you're going to be doing the series, and inevitably there will be differences, and you might sort of think, oh, I'm not doing that scene that was in the book, I'm missing out on that side of the character. It can actually be frustrating sometimes if you know the books too well, or if you build your expectation on the back of the books, you know.
Do you feel it affected the way you approach the character, having read the books a bit?
You know, that's quite hard to answer. I mean, certainly in terms of the lines that were given in the script to the character, they tallied with the tone of the character as read in the books. Essentially a decent man, an honourable man, a kind man, a thoroughgoing warrior, and an excellent swordsman. You know, you just take all those things on board and you make sure you try and imbue it with that. So consciously, how much the books influenced, my take on the character, I couldn't answer you specifically or expressly on that, you know.
What would you say have been the biggest changes in yourself as an actor since you first started to how you are now?
I guess, I mean, you know, the one thing you learn over the years, and I've been doing it a long time, is that it's constantly full of surprises. If you don't get this job today, don't worry, there's another job somewhere down the line for you. You realize the power of publicity and the power of visibility. I mean, especially something like Game of Thrones, it is so visible, it's so popular in so many parts of the world. You suddenly find you as an actor, you have a visibility that you didn't have before, even though you've done lots of other things over the years, because this is so high profile, you know. I guess also you probably get more sort of sanguine about how the business works and learn not to get too frustrated if it doesn't always work in your favor, you know, because it's a long game. I love all aspects of the business, so I mean, I notice a lot of people coming into it now, young people, they're fascinated by the screen and they all want to kind of star on screen. My generation, a lot of us were captivated by the theatre, and I kind of hope that, you know, enough young actors coming into the business still want to do theatre, because theatre's a great medium and a valuable medium, and I'd hate to see it sort of like, you know, get lost. I don't think it ever will, frankly. I hope it doesn't, but I'd hate to see it get lost in there somewhere, you know, because I like to move personally between the two if I can.
You mentioned there about becoming more savvy about the way the business works. How has the industry itself changed over the years?
Well, I guess one of the biggest things, and it's probably something that is working in our favor, there are many, many more platforms than there used to be. So it used to be you were reliant on, you know, BBC or ITV, and that was probably it. Now you've got so many different platforms. There's a fascination from the American side of things. You know, there's you've got Amazon and Netflix and all those different kind of options. Even games now, you know, voicing in games and things like that. Many more platforms than there were. So in theory, there should be more opportunities for work than there were.
You've also worked not only as an actor but as a director on Eagle's Wings.
Yeah.
What was the experience like? Do you feel that being an actor affected the way you direct? Did you direct with an actor's eye, as it were?
You know, this is a very hard one. Some people say it's important to have been an actor if you're a director. Some people say it doesn't matter. I guess the important thing is that you understand the material and you do your best to represent it. My personal frustration sometimes is that I think too many directors try and put, quote, their stamp on something, when in fact what they should be doing is try and make sure that they represent what's there. That said, I enjoy directing. I enjoy the fact that it's a different kind of challenge. When you're an actor, it's all about what you're doing with the part and the relationships that that character has with others. As a director, you're across every aspect of the thing being made and every character's involvement in it, and also the whole artistic and design and creative side of it. It's fascinating and it's fun, and it just uses a different side of your head. So I like it, and I like moving between the two.
What's next for you? What are you working on right now?
I am literally, on Monday, I'm starting rehearsals in London for a well-known melodrama called Gaslight, which was written in the 30s.
Oh, yes.
And in fact, a couple of film versions were made of it, one with Ingrid Bergman. We're doing a play version of it, which we're rehearsing in London, but we're actually playing in Toronto. So that'll be fun.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Cheers.
Thank you.